Started here. I'd like to call the order the Phillipsburg City Council meeting for October 21st. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any public comment tonight? Okay, let's take a look at the October 7th minutes in your packet.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from October 7th, 2019.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, appropriation ordinance number 1055-10-19A. You'll notice in there we do have the airport vehicle for $4,500.
Which was matched by the bank, was that correct?
They'll be doing half of that.
Oh, half of the 45, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you found one for 45, I guess is what I'm saying.
Test drove it, I had a few problems and had it redone, and
It'll be in service tomorrow.
Good.
we got insurance and everything for it. It's nice and clean.
I would make a motion to approve appropriation ordinance 1055, 10-19A.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Motion passes. Mr. Wisner. Mr. James.
Been gone, I don't know. I don't have one.
Okay, Mr. Rogers.
The employee base has chosen the 16th of November for their end of year party at the Sand Trap. I will have them contact each one of you to get your attendance and what you would like to eat. And they've chosen beef and a chicken and a pork, I believe. So you have your options from there. In addition to that, after we get to, and we'll talk about this when we have our insurance meeting or whatnot as a possibility of a benefit. They had asked whether we would be interested in doing something similar to what some of the other organizations do with a wellness center to allow access for the employees and their spouses there, some sort of an offset or something to go on there. And so they had a little vote amongst themselves, because our question to them was, is it even worth us looking into it? How many people would be interested? So of the 21 folks that responded, 11 of them were interested in something of that nature. So we'll get back with another JPPC meeting and see what.
How's that set up in the county, do you know?
It is a discounted rate, so if you're an employee, you're discounted. I think you pay $15 a month of the 30, 15 or 20, I can't remember, of the 30. So, and then there's some organizations that pay for it completely at the end of the month, according to who attends, but then they have a book you sign in there, and they pay the membership for those folks that attended that month, I believe, so. But we'll talk about that when we talk about health insurance in the next go around. Try to get back together with them and see what they want to do for sure, JPPC.
Okay.
Other than that, nothing.
Okay, Mr. McCollum.
I have nothing.
Ms. Voorhees.
Yes, if you guys want to turn to page 28.
Love your page numbers.
Yes, yes, yes. Me too. We had, after discussion with city council, the facilities committee discussed resolution 270, and we agreed upon to change the wording in it. So if you go down to line, or underneath schools sanction, it'll be waiver of fees. It currently read waiver of fees for specific fundraisers will be at the discretion of the facilities committee, and we have changed it to waiver of fees for specific fundraisers and non-school youth activities under 18 years of age that are open to all participants will be in the discretion of the facilities committee. So I'd like him to make a motion. This will be resolution 272 that we implement that.
Is that the only change that was permanent? That's what I thought.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? I do know that there's also there will be an agreement that people will sign as well. And I think it's critical that it's open to all participants on the youth activities.
I would agree.
On like select programs and stuff like that, they'll still pay the fee if it's not open to everybody of that age group, so. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution number 272 passes. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, thank you. Okay, under me, we got, Scott, I'm gonna put you at the bottom, just because I know you want to go into executive session. The community intern program that we had with Minnie, the deadline is October 31st. If you have opportunities where we can use an intern, we need to get that in as soon as possible. Again, we pay living expenses. I think for the 3 months that Minnie was here, we paid a total of about $800 to $900 total for her time. I think it's well worth it. So if we have any other projects, and Scott, that would mean you as well. If we got something where we can utilize somebody here that would give them the experience and the city would benefit from, that would be great to hear from you. Preferably soon. I'd hate to do this last minute like we are, but we'll get, this is the first meeting. There's a census proclamation. What page is that one on? Page 31. Census was I went to the conference that Scott and I attended, the League of Municipalities, and it was a big item. I mean, it was talked about every day. They had sessions on it. The census is a very big deal from a standpoint of it translates to about $2,082 per person per year that is not counted, that will cost your city. So, and that's federal funds. So it's important when it comes to CDBG, school lunch programs, education, Head Start programs, just everything that's dealing with cities and states as well. So we want to put a committee together. I would like to have a council member lead it as far as a count committee. We probably wouldn't start counting until next year, but it's important we start having some meetings on it. We'll need somebody from the library because they suggested library and education from a standpoint of being able to use the computers at the facilities. It's going to be the easiest ever as far as being able to get the information out to people and getting people to respond, because it's going to be done online. It's going to be done multiple ways. And you can add to this. You've been to a meeting on it as well. Wendy Starts as the representative, as well as Steve's. I can't remember Steve's last name. But there's a data sheet that they'll send for we had a handout to the council, and it kind of tells you the importance of what the programs are. But that data sheet right there, they have one for Phillipsburg as well. So we can get that out to the community, or at least get it on our website. Wendy is supposed to send us one. Tell us about what our size is. So they have one of these for every city as well. So do I have anybody that would be interested in leading that up? That would be great.
It kind of throwed me when I was reading this, just real quick. Can I, about what questions will be asked?
Yep.
Maybe I'm wrong in my comment, but I know everybody's tough on this, can't ask citizenship. But then they put Hispanic origin. I just, that throwed me for the reason of that's specifically targeting a group, and I didn't think that's what they did.
I don't know.
I know, it throwed me when I seen that.
So there's 10 questions I'll ask. It takes about 10 minutes to fill it out. Name, phone number, age, sex, race, Hispanic origin, relationship to household holder, household tenure, do you own or rent, number of people in the household, and usual place of residence. And there are some, like if you have a child that is going to college, you do not count them. They will be counted in the city that they attend and where they stay. So if they're staying in Hayes, they'll be counted on the Hayes. They won't be counted here because they're only here 3 months out of the year, unless they're traveling back and forth. So that's one thing I did get. That was asked at the conference. There was one other one, I can't remember what it was, but there was another question I thought was pretty interesting as well.
Now, when it comes down to this census, is this something that we as a city are gonna need to do? I mean, I'm asking.
We will help, well, they'll bring census workers in.
Okay, that's what I'm
But
trying
we
to get
want to
at.
make sure that we assist them in any possible way to help get everybody counted so we can get our money.
That part I understand,
Yeah.
okay.
But no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, because they first want everyone to fill it out online. And then those that they don't reach online, they'll send you out a mailing. And then those you don't get by the mailing, they'll come door to door. So the more people throughout the country that we can get done the first round or the second round, the less money it is for all the taxpayers, not to pay all these workers
Yeah.
to do this. But if the city can promote, our local citizens to participate, like online, that would be to our benefit.
But is there a way to find that information that we need as to residencies or peoples or addresses or whatever? I mean, the census people are gonna walk around assumably. If they haven't gotten anything, how do we know as a city, should I say our group, whatever we do, that how are we gonna know what to help people, help the census people with, even though they've done this online? How are we gonna know what they're doing and where they're at and what they need?
I don't think that's on our responsibility. Our responsibility is just to get the word out and try to encourage people. If they come to your door and answer it or fill it out online, it'd be best. But they have ways to keep track. They all have iPads that they're gonna know who's filled it out where, straight down to each doorstep.
So if we have somebody new move, because I'm sure they're going off the tax records as far as the old stuff, I would guess. But anybody's moved new to town that didn't have their mail forward, we should have information for them as far as.
Yeah, they
Utility
took
bill.
a round of information, who lives where, but they may come to the city if they can't get a hold of somebody and ask, but I think it's based on, your name and whatever in their database, they'll know whether you've filled it out yet or not.
I guess my point is I'm just trying to think of where we're at in this, other than education, and how do we get the education out is the,
They'll come to us and ask what they need, if we can help them out in any way.
Okay.
Our thing is mainly to get the word out to fill it out.
And this count committee, they said, the census will bring a worker out here and meet with the count committee and tell you how the committee can help them and give a presentation and get them started. Also, the league is a big participant. They have prepared,
Resources.
resources, mailings and social media, things that we can copy and get out to our citizens too.
It's something we probably ought to put in utility billing when we mail something to them. The importance of doing it, that's something we can do on our part.
well, I would help with the committee, but to chair,
Okay,
I would help with the committee.
all right, thank you. And then we can also get put it on our social media and Facebook page as
I
well.
guess that's the reason I was asking so many questions, is to
Yeah.
what are we really trying to,
We'll get
trying to
somebody
do
out who
here?
tells exactly what they want us to do.
Yeah.
But, with that, though, I'd ask for,
Make a motion, we have the mayor sign a proclamation for the
that's what I was
census.
asking for. Do I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The other thing is pure information. It's in your packet on page, this is something that the League of Kansas Municipalities went over the first day, and that was what is the policy draft for 2020 as far as what they're going to be focused on. And it goes all the way through. And there'll be a clean PDF file sent out when they're done with it through 42. It just gives you. And this was passed by the body at Saturday's meeting, Saturday morning.
that's just how I just scanned this, but I assume everything that was in red that they marked through was in there that they're not agreeing with.
Yeah, they changed the wording of it or did not agree with it. They struck it. It was in last year's possibly as well. It's interesting reading.
You didn't get-
Like they took the amusement park rides out that they had, because they'd already addressed that, and they got that legislation passed. There's some stuff in there they were working on that I wasn't even aware of. It was a good conference. They talked a lot, they had some sessions on revitalizing downtown, some of the historic programs that we could participate in. They had a lot on housing that I don't think we're taking full advantage of, that we need to look into. And it's part of our vision. And they said there's a lot of focus on low-income housing, but the moderate income housing, there wasn't a lot of focus on. And that's what those people that are wanting to get their first home. And that's one of the things they're gonna focus on more this year. Okay, Tim?
Okay. A few things. Training coming up, previously noted the Governor's Water Conference will be November 6th through the 8th. The expenses will be taken care of by the Governor's office, so there'll be no cost to the city. Things the crews have been up to, we've finished mowing hopefully for the season. Got everything mowed up and cleaned up. They worked exclusively on the park project last week. Finished up a little bit of work up there this morning, and we'll be opening that up later this evening. Pretty pleased with it. We'll have to evaluate it through the rest of the winter and see how it holds up and if it does everything we expect it to. There was a couple spots where folks had some struggle with our traffic control that we have to go back and fix, but for the most part, I think
Now, did you just lime that and then blend it with what was there?
yes.
And then what'd you do, shoot it with,
It's got 2 layers of MC 800 and chip rock over the top of that.
so what'd you do, go in and shoot one and let it dry and then come back in and shoot it
Shot
again?
one, did it on Thursday, shot one on Friday. So there was a day difference between coats. A couple of places we actually had to shoot this morning because weather hit us before we could finish it up.
Then we had some Jet A that was kind of in a barrel that we needed to clean out, and that's what we used to reactivate the asphalt.
Okay, so did you cut the EMC with the Jet A, or did you
No.
just shoot the Jet A direct?
The Jet A was put on the existing pavement to rejuvenate the existing oil that's there.
Okay.
That mixing process before you put the lime on it. So it rejuvenates it as you're mixing. The big blow bag came in and mixed all of it up together.
Right.
Laid it back down, repacked it, regraded, and then come back and chip seal it over the top of that.
Okay. I didn't know whether you cut that Jet A with some of that, with the MC a little bit to make it more of an RC, which is more of a penetrant, and then come back with an MC.
Typically, we don't use RC when we do chip seal. It's always the MC.
Well, no, I mean for a penetrant to start
Oh.
with, before the MC went back over top of it.
No.
Okay.
So finish that up today. We'll be evaluating it for its performance over the next few months, and
Well, you have a good base. I don't think
It's
there's any
solid.
question the base is gonna be solid. It's just where the chip seal hangs out during the winter.
we had a lot of traffic on it this weekend, unfortunately. We put a lot of cones down there to try to deter people, and they must not be bright enough.
I noticed it was moved.
The
I
cones-
thought we opened that up.
We opened a portion of it up, the rest of it was just gonna let be because it wouldn't affect, and the cones must not be bright enough, so. We got everything winterized for the year, except for the campground. We usually will wait for it till after the opening weekend of pheasant season. All the other bathhouses and everything else have been winterized for the season. Many of you have probably noticed we installed an RCB box, which is a reinforced concrete box down at the corner of Highway 183 and Park Street. We have to adjust the height on that a little bit yet. Looks like they miscalculated when they built it. It's about 12 to 14 inches too tall. So we'll have to go through and cut that down and get it set. But at least it fills the hole for right now, and it'll make a nice improvement once we get that completed.
So when that's all done, it will be ground level? It
Yes.
won't- Okay, because I was worried about somebody sliding into that and busting it.
No, it'll be ground level, so, like I said, it'll look really nice when we're done. Unfortunately, they just gave us a little more than we asked for. D Street, that project minus a piece of sidewalk is basically complete. We'll seed it in the spring when weather allows, but I'm not gonna put any seed on it this fall. I think it's just too late. Citywide cleanup, last week we spent some time getting all of our equipment put together, ready to go. Mother Nature has not been very helpful today. The landfill called us about 7:45 this morning and said they would be holding our trucks, so we weren't very active today. So we've got 2 trash trucks completely packed full, and hopefully we can unload those tomorrow and turn the dump trucks loose, picking the rest of the stuff up. So it'll be a busy week for them being down a day like this, so hopefully the weather will start to cooperate.
Should we
with us.
send something out to the residents and tell them our trash is
Put
gonna be later?
Stuff out on social media and where people
Yeah,
have said
tell.
no.
Okay.
The State Street Phase 1 project, give you a quick update on that. There was lots of questions brought to me last Friday about why we dug such a large hole down at the intersection of 10th and State. If you remember, there was a large area that we patched and patched and patched and patched and never would hold up. Once they started digging in there, they found a pretty soft spot, so they kept digging. They went down approximately 5 feet before they were able to find something to be able to bridge over the top of. So at that point in time, they put some large diameter rock in and was able to start packing lifts of fresh dirt in there to try to get it to bridge over the top of. Looks like they did a very good job on it. There was some concern at one point that our water line was leaking, but it was not. So they were able to get that repaired. They've got most of the rock in place, and I would fully expect to see some concrete going later this week or first of next week.
When there's a line or something right in that area, or?
There's a lot of stuff in that intersection. There
Oh, that's
is
kinda what I
all
thought.
sorts of gas lines. There's a great big concrete box. There's a 12-inch water line that runs diagonal. There's one that runs across the street. There's some old storm sewers in there. There's old clay tile abandoned storm sewers that are approximately 15-inch. There's just, it's a good corner to find about everything. So they had to be very careful when they were excavating that. In your packet, you'll have a report. We've kind of tossed this around for a while, and it's been requested that we go ahead and take forth and move action into this. So in there is a report of a dangerous structures. There is 2 houses listed. The first house is 141 H Street. The owner of that is Rick and Sherilyn Gitchell. The other house is at 1105 3rd Street. The owner of this one is Robert Wood. Attached to that are the report of the deficiencies in the homes. And at this point in time, if the council so chooses, we will set a public hearing date and bring those folks in to move this process forward.
I'd get after it. I thought we was already there, but yeah, I'd get after it.
Do we have a motion?
I would.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You will set the, or do you have a date in mind?
I don't have the date in mind yet. I will work with Scott to get
If
that.
I could interject a little bit, I've kind of got a breakdown of how this process works. And so that everybody kind of keeps an idea in place that we've got certain procedures we go through. First is the statement of the enforcing officer, which I think is what is in the packet. And then we've got to do a resolution, be published 2 times. And then we have to allow 30 days to elapse between the last publication and the date set for hearing. So you're down the road already 40, 45 days. Then we'll set that hearing at a date and time specified in the resolution. And at that time, we'll have a mini hearing, mini trial, and this council body will make a decision of a finding based upon what's presented to you, whether we in fact have a dangerous structure. If you don't, we're done. Number 2, if you do, then is it repair or is it remove it? So those will be the items you look at doing. And then after that, then we adopt an ordinance or another resolution, which is usually what we follow. And that lays out there the conditions of how the property will be either rehabilitated by the owner and or removed. And we usually then give the owner of the property another 60 days from whence to do that. So want to have a little heads up, it doesn't happen quick. It's usually about a 5 to 6 month process.
Didn't we talk about changing that and shortening that and trying to streamline that a little better, Scott?
I think we've discussed it and talked about it. However, this is what the league follows. And it's been a well-established process that has stood the test of time. And if we want to go out on our own, then we'll be the ones that'll be over in the court system making sure that it's good and stable and not later found out to be unconstitutional. So my recommendation is to stay with the parameters and the ordinances that you have in effect. As all things in city government, we do move slow, but we do get things done when we follow our procedures and process.
So in other words, we shouldn't let these go as long as we did. We should react a little quicker on them so that it doesn't take as long.
Well, you know, it depends what may be found out. Some people you can go talk to them and lead them a little nudging and they'll move. Other people begin to move and then they stop. And I think that may have been both of the situations we've had here. And so normally in public entities, you give the people the opportunity to respond. If they do, great, it saves the city a lot of time, energy, and effort. If they don't, then you've got the avenue to proceed. And I think we're probably run out of the time of giving them the opportunity.
But the only way we cut any time out of it is the time we allow to have the structure dealt with, right?
Right.
We don't have to give 60 days, but we can give more, we can give less.
It's just been the common in the past, 60.
So you'll have the resolutions prepared for us by the next meeting then?
I will.
Okay.
Other than that, there's about all together. I mean, the airport van we've already spoke about. That'll be in service tomorrow morning.
So the cost incurred by the city to publish these and stuff like that, can we pass those on to the owner of the home?
Well, there are various procedures to attempt that. In the past, I believe the city has had it placed upon the tax rolls, which has the benefit that if the owner wants to continue owning that, not end up in a tax foreclosure sale, the county, through its taxing mechanism, will retrieve that money for us for very little expense.
Okay.
There are other mechanisms available, but they are more expensive to the city, with possibility of the same thing, no result, so.
How about the ones that we've previously addressed? Like whatever it was, a year or two ago? Have they been,
One is, both of them are still in progress. I mean, they are still reworking those. Steady progress has been made. The one on, I'm trying to remember the exact address, the one next to Mr. Kimes' house. It has actually been closed up and it's no longer what I would consider a dangerous structure at this point. They are remodeling it. The one further to the south there, another block, they have been slow to respond, but they have at least put in an effort to make it safe for the neighborhood to be around. Interior wise, it's not livable, but exterior wise, it has been made forth where it is not a danger to the community as it sits.
Okay, so they
I
have
would love to
actually
see more work done on them to make them more livable, but at this point in time, they have not. But they have complied with what's required of them.
okay.
What about the one out here?
I'm not too sure that they haven't, I'm not too sure someone's not living in that one, or a portion of it. That they've done the same thing. They have made some repairs and made it where it actually is no longer a danger. There is lots of work left to do, but it's no longer a dangerous structure.
I think that's been looked at.
Okay.
I don't know, that's really all I have for you.
Okay.
Unless you have any questions for me.
Okay, Tiffany?
The first thing I have is a cereal malt beverage license. Pester Marketing Company has turned in their application for Alta Convenience. So I'd like to entertain approval.
Motion for the mayor to sign or what?
I think the council has to approve for me to issue them a license.
Okay. You have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Uh-huh.
Opposed?
And it's Peace,
Peace.
Yeah, for Alta.
yeah, Peace, not
Peace.
Pester.
Peace or not Pester?
Pester.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and then in your packet on page 47 and 48, the Finance Committee met with the Blue Cross Blue Shield representative, and he presented the new rates for the employees next year for the health insurance benefit. The first page shows the different options that they're gonna allow us to choose, and at the bottom shows the monthly cost for the city to pay for those. And on the second page you can see we currently pay $25,499.54 a month for the insurance premium for all the employees. And then the difference there, the second premium is for next year. It's going to increase approximately $33,000 next year for the yearly premium. The Finance Committee is planning to get together in the next week or two and have a work day to discuss kind of the options of how much the employee pays and different benefits. There's also one in a handout for each council member. We were looking at the employee assistance program that Blue Cross Blue Shield offers. Currently, we do not offer that to employees.
Did he ever call back with a rate on that?
Yeah, it's on page 9 of this packet. it talks about the different services there and the price as an annual rate to the entire city.
Is the handout you gave them?
Yeah, I think, did you have a handout?
I must make sure they, oh, there you guys got it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's,
Oh, that-
to have 3 face-to-face sessions, it'd be $1,600 premium annually for the whole city. And then there's several like 24/7 online or telephone support that's just included, unlimited. But this will be something the finance committee reviews too. If y'all have any recommendations before they meet.
which plan are we on now?
We're on A.
And the only thing in A that's changed from last year to this year is a couple of the drug co-pays went up a few dollars.
Dental stayed the same,
Yes.
but there's about 11% increase if we kept the same thing. Not this, we need to look at different options. We need to look at B possibly as well, and other things that we can provide that we're not providing today can be added to it. The EAP thing's a very good, especially, you know, all the issues we have facing society today. It's just, it's a good thing for them to be able to call, and it's not just on mental health or anything like that. It could be on an attorney type thing as well. They can call for attorney expertise. He had a case where he called about if he gave his automobile to his daughter, how would it be handled from a tax perspective? And he was able to call EAP and get an answer on that. So there's different things that it can be useful. That's pretty cheap, $1,500 for the entire staff.
Yeah.
Wow. He said 2,000. I thought it was. He was right. Pretty cheap.
So after the workday, we're hoping to have maybe a recommendation for the council next meeting. And then the next page is, I just thought I would bring it up that I've been learning about, a little bit about, there's a certified municipal clerk designation out there and some training for new clerks. On page 50, they have a conference coming up called Institutes, November 11th through 15th, for all year 1 city clerks. The registration fee is $485 and they have room rates. But it talks about all the things that I've been learning. You know, several days of me being gone. I didn't know if that's something that you wanted me to work towards or not. Some cities require their clerks to go for this designation, some don't.
I guess I'm one that's in for training. I'd make a motion to have Tiffany continue.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Getting rolled.
Okay. And then the last thing I had is, since the annual employee dinner is coming up, usually the council approves $50 chamber bonus bucks to be given to each employee. I didn't know if you wanted to do that again. We need to get the process going, probably to have those available for that if you wanted to do that.
Discussion?
Do it.
We've always done that.
Do we have consensus to do it again this year? Yes, you have consensus.
Okay. And then I guess following that is the quarterly, the September municipal court report, the revenue and expenditures, the cash balance, CDs. I don't know if you have any questions about those.
Our signs must be helping.
I need to pull out that. I'll try to remember to pull out data for you for your next meeting.
Yeah, we need to get that out. So So get that out, and then we need to get it over to Charlotte as well.
I'm glad you said that, because I was gonna make a comment about that, and I keep forgetting to. You know, where that's at is the 30, it's just ahead of the 25, wouldn't it be closer, or the 20? Wouldn't it be a little better to have a 20-mile-an-hour sign there where they're hitting that and saying that it's 20 mile an hour instead of the 30 mile an hour?
Where is this at, sir?
There by the car wash.
It's actually 30 going that way.
No, it's
coming
going
this
that way, toward the 20.
Toward the 20.
We can move it however you.
Why,
would like to see.
my only point is it's 30 right there, but a block down the street is 20, so, you know, you try to slow them down for the 20. That was my only comment. I got thinking about that the other day, and I keep forgetting to say something, but since you brought it up, it's like,
It is a little bit difficult with that sign to be able to find a good location downtown because of the way there's a lot of poles that.
I know. I just, I just want to make that comment
But we
because,
can definitely move it back to the west, or back to the east if you'd like.
No, I think it'd be better to move it to the west.
west.
It's hard finding a location that isn't blocked by trees or something else there, because there's,
Golden Plains has the trees there.
Take a look at that. and see
Right
what-
now, it's a little difficult for you to find anything with all the construction.
That's
anyway,
true.
so-
Yeah, you look into that.
Move to a different street for a while if you want.
Wait till next year.
yeah.
7th Street if you want to.
Wait till next year.
Want to
2
check that
years.
stuff out.
It's gonna be worse.
It's progress.
That's right.
It's nice and smooth. Okay. You wanna read?
Well, before we go, wanted to let you know, I attended the City Attorneys Association meeting down at Overland Park Convention Center on October 11th. As I've always said about most of these seminars, if you come away with 25 to 33% of it benefiting you, it's been progress. I felt that way. As always, they give us what we call case law update, which what's going on in the criminal part and what's the new avenue of attack towards prosecutors' cases. So I thought that was good. And then, of course, the ethics. This one focused on dealing with the media, which was kind of an area that I can say I've just never spent much time dealing with, but found it to be, a good beginning place. How's that to start? Then we had some issues on fundraising improvements for cities, facilities, which I thought was a new area because I don't recall us ever going down that line before in city attorney. And then they had two programs at the same time. You had to choose one or the other. And I wanted to go to both of them. So I left a note afterwards, make sure you repeat these two the next time we do it. One dealt with drafting ordinances and home rule. The other one dealt with emerging issues of the 1983 claims and liabilities, which continues to be an issue that is expanding. And this one focused on mental health and the issues flowing from that. Then the last two sessions were panel discussions, and by then we'd had a large meal, and it was really kind of hard to focus on that. And it really, what I call, ended up being, well, this is my war story. What's your war story? And I suggested next time we maybe leave those two out. So anyway, thank you for the opportunity. Wanted to bring you up now. I'll turn it back.
I move the city council recess into executive session for the consultation with the attorney for the city council or the city for information deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship exemption, KSA 75-4319 with city council,
Mayor,
mayor,
city
city
clerk,
clerk, and city attorney.
or
For 10 minutes.
6:55.
6:55, we'll resume.
I would like to make a comment to the aspect of the ordinance we was talking about, amending section 5 of the ordinance 1401. I think we need to hold off for further legal review until next year.
Any other discussion? All right. Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?